Hello friends, today's topic of our discussion is Marsilea life cycle. This life cycle we have divided in two parts. Part first, the classification of Marsilea, number of species, its distribution, the sporophytic plant body, external characteristic and internal characteristics. And in next lecture, we in part second, we are trying to focusing on the sporophytic structure, the then spores, their germination, their gametophytic structure, then sexual reproduction, and at the last alternation of generation. So in today's lecture we are starting with Marsilea life cycle part first. First point is the systematic position, means classification. It is belong to division Pteridophyta. Class is the Leptosporangiate. Order is the Marsileales, family Marsiliaceae, and genus is the Marsilea. This is the classification or systematic position of the Marsilea. Point number 1. Marsilea commonly called as water fern. It's generally it is amphibious, or some species are aquatic, so Marsilea commonly called as the water fern. Number 2, it is represented by 53 living and 10 fossil species. So these are the numbers of their species. 53 species are the living species and 10 species are the fossil. Number 3, the living species occur in all parts of the world, means they shows the cosmopolitan occurrence where the life of the Marsilea is possible. Such distribution is called as the cosmopolitan distribution, so that all living species occur in all parts of the world but are more common in tropical Africa and Australia. Number 4, they are aquatic or amphibious. Aquatic means what? They can totally grow in water bodies. Amphibious means they can grow in the water bodies, as well as they are able to grow in moist condition, water saturated conditions, habitats. They are aquatic or amphibious. The aquatic species usually grow in shallow means उथळ, मराठीमध्ये त्याला आपण उथळ म्हणतो, shallow ponds and pools, but fruiting bodies, sporocarps, are formed only in terrestrial habitats. Okay, sporocarps means what? These are the fruiting bodies. They are the special structures present in the Marsilea called as the sporocarps, and they produces the spores. Okay, number 5, the amphibious species grow in waterlogged soil, partly submerged. Okay, some species may grow in both aquatic and terrestrial habitats. Okay, so that the Marsilea shows the amphibious habitat for their growth, as they are aquatic as well as the water grows in waterlogged conditions. Number 6, in India, genus is represented by 9 living species. There are 9 living species occurred in India, and from these 9 species, Marsilea minuta is the most widely distributed species, and Marsilea minuta is the most common and most observed species in the India. Okay, now the sporophytic body, external morphology. Sporophytic plant body means what? As you know that sporophytic plant body is the spore producing plant body, so it is called as the sporophytic plant body. And in pteridophytes, sporophytic plant body is the dominant plant body, which is long lived plant body. It is typically green plant body. It is nutritionally independent plant body. So sporophytic plant body, the external appearance or external morphology. You see in the photograph shows the diagram of the Marsilea. This diagram shows different parts of the plant body or habit of the Marsilea. For example, rhizome are there. Then toward the lower side, in the muddy substratum, rhizome produces the roots. Then rhizome is the tubular structure. cylindrical structure, or it is siphon like structure, it having the prominent nodes as well as the internodes. From the nodal region they produce the roots from the lower side, and toward the aerial side they produce the petiole, and at the tip of the petiole they produces the leaflets. So at the base of the petiole, again spore producing structures, sporophytes are produces by the rhizome or at the base of the petiole. In toward the left side you see there, in young petioles they shows the cercinate vernation or cercinate cercinate vernation or cercinate arrangement like a fern nephrolepis. Okay, first toward the left side, first showing the petioles are nothing but the very young in the beginning condition. Second is the young leaf, and toward the how you will come toward the right side, there are the matured petioles as well as the matured leaflets. So in this way these are the entire plant body of the Marsilia. The main plant body includes the rhizome having nodes, internodes. Toward the nodal region they produce roots. Toward the lower side, toward the aerial side, upper side, they produce the petioles. Then at the tip of the petioles four leaflets are developed, and at the base of the petiole the spore producing structure sporocarp is produces. So these are the typical parts of the Marsilia sporophytic plant body. Okay, now see the description. Number 1, they possesses a rhizome that creeps means they can grow horizontally on the substratum like a creeper, that creeps on the just beneath the surface of the soil. Beneath the surface of the soil means they are subterranean. Number 2, the rhizome is slender, branched, and possesses nodes as well as the internode nodes. Just we have studied these. Number 3, the rhizome is dichotomously branched. It can grow capable of indefinite growth in all directions and covers an area more than 25 meters in the diameter. So these rhizomes can grow toward the every side. Okay, and they can grow up to the 25 meters in the diameter. Okay, means they do not having any restriction for their growth. Number 4, the leaves are borne alternately. The leaves are borne alternately along the upper side of the rhizome at the nodes. Okay, leaves are borne alternately along the upper side of the rhizome at the nodes. You see in the diagram they are alternately arranged on the nodal region of the rhizome. Number 5, the leaves possesses cercinate vernation. You see in the diagram toward the left side the young leaves shows the cercinate vernation like a nephrolepis fern. Number 6, the young cercinate leaves remain covered with numerous multicellular hairs, and these young leaves shows the cercinate vernation again have covered with the numerous multicellular hairs. Okay, next number 7, the leaves of submerged plants possesses long flexible petiole and leaf lamina that float on the water surface. Okay, when the Marsilia species is the submerged, in that condition the petiole is the long, flexible, and leaf lamina are the flat or broad for the floating in the water bodies. Number 8, the leaves are compound. The leaves are compound. So this you see in the leaves they are 4 leaflets are there. When the simple leaf divided into small leaves, they are called as the leaflets, and such leaves are called as the compound leaves. Okay, number 9, the lamina of each leaf. The lamina of each leaf is divided into 4 leaflets or pinnae arising from the apex of the petiole. Okay, at the tip of the petiole there are 4 leaflets. They are also called as the pinnae. Number 10, the shape of pinnae varies from obovate to obcuneate. So this is the structure of the leaflets present on the petiole. Number 11. One or more adventitious roots are born at each node of the underside of rhizome. Okay, at the base of the rhizome we already discussed this point, and at the lower side of the rhizome they produce the adventitious roots. Now the internal organization of the sporophytic plant body. First is the anatomy of the petiole. Okay, you see in the diagram all parts are clearly visible in the photograph. Outline of the petiole is the circular. Outermost protective covering is the epidermis, which is further covered by the cuticle. Then inner the epidermis cortex is there. Again cortex divided into inner cortex, outer cortex. Then sclerenchymatous patches are there below the inner cortex. Then endodermis and pericycle is there. Then phloem is there. Then xylem at the center in two ribs. So these are the inner organizations. Point number 1. The petiole is differentiated into epidermis, cortex and the stele. So these are the three important parts of the anatomy of the petiole. Number 2. The epidermis is composed of single layer of rectangular cells. Cells are rectangular in shape and they are epidermis is single layered. Number 3. The cortex is differentiated into an outer arenchymatous and an inner parenchymatous region. Okay, the cortex is divided into outer cortex, inner cortex, outer arenchymatous and inner is the parenchymatous. Number 4. The ratio of arenchyma and parenchyma differs in aquatic and terrestrial forms. So the number of arenchyma or region of arenchyma and parenchyma's part or cells is differ on aquatic and terrestrial forms. Number 5. The cells of inner cortex contain the starch grains. The starch grains are present in the cells of the inner cortex. Number 6. The stele is surrounded by layer each of endodermis and pericycle. Single layered pericycle, single layered endodermis, which is covered by the centrally located stele of the petiole. Stele means vascular part. Okay, vascular region or stellar region is further covered by single layered pericycle and endodermis. Number 7. The xylem consists of two strands. See at the center, xylem consists of two strands, each forming a curved arch. Each strand of the xylem is curved. The arches are closer to each other in the middle. At the middle they are somewhat closer and but turn outward to either side. Toward both either side they are curved toward the outer side. Okay. So see in the at the center the two strands of the xylem are there. Number 8. The metaxylem. Metaxylem is large cavity xylem cells. Protoxylem small cavity xylem cells. Number 8. The metaxylem is present towards the base of arch. Okay, and the protoxylem towards tip. The arch shows at the center there is the metaxylem and toward the both ends there is the protoxylem. Number 9. Xylem is surrounded by phloem. You see in the diagram there are two strands of the xylem and this xylem is further covered by the phloem. Pith is absent. And number 11. The stele is protostele. The name of the stele is the protostele. Protostele means arrangement of vascular tissue in the stellar region. This arrangement at the center xylem further covered by the phloem, such arrangement is called as the protostele. Anatomy of the leaflet or anatomy of the pinna. Anatomy of the pinna is again very simple. The vertical section of leaflet shows mesophyll tissue present between two epidermal layers. Upper epidermal layer or lower epidermis. In between two epidermis, the region of the lip lake tissue is present. It is called as the mesophyll tissue. Number 2, the epidermis is interrupted by stomata. The epidermis of the leaflet covered by the stomata. Number 3, the mesophyll is differentiated into palisade and spongy parenchyma. Okay, palisade tissue is nothing but the columnar tissue. Its arrangement is the columnar just below the upper epidermis, and below the the columnar arrangement of tissue is called as palisade region, and below the palisade region there is a loosely arranged spongy parenchyma. Okay, so mesophyll in between two epidermis is made by columnarly arranged palisade tissue and loosely arranged spongy parenchyma. Number 5, they are followed by loosely arranged cells of spongy parenchyma with large intercellular spaces. The spongy parenchyma shows the large intercellular spaces. Number 6, the vascular bundles in the leaflet are concentric. The type of vascular bundle is the concentric with central xylem core, centrally located xylem surrounded by phloem. So this is the centroxylic vascular bundle. Number 7, the each vascular bundle is surrounded by a layer of endodermis, and the endodermis layer is there. That endodermis is further covered by the vascular strand or vascular bundle present in the center of the leaflet. So in this way, this is the very easy anatomy of the leaflet. Now the vegetative reproduction. In species like Marsilea minuta, Marsilea hirsuta and Marsilea erosa, some subterranean branches of the rhizome form tubers during unfavorable conditions. During unfavorable condition, they produces the tubers by the underground rhizome. The tubers have reserve food in the form of oil globules, and these tubers contain the reserve food in the form of oil globules. They are capable to tiding over unfavorable period and thus serve as perinating bodies. Okay, and they store the food material and so that they can survive for long period, so that they call it as the perinating bodies. Last number, on return of favorable conditions, they germinate and form new plants. When these tubers can germinate, they produce the new sporophytic plant body of the Marsilea. Now reproduction by spores. Marsilea is heterosporous fern. It is a heterosporous fern which produces two types of spores. In case of heterosporous pteridophytes, the spores are always two types, microspores and megaspores. Okay, Marsilea is heterosporous fern which produces two types of spores, microspores and megaspores, in separate sporangia. Microspores are developed in microsporangium and megaspores are developed in the megasporangium, born within the special reproductive structure called as sporocarps. But these microsporangia and megasporangia, they are developed in the single structure called as the sporocarp. So see in the diagram, matured sporocarp structure is given. Matured sporocarp is made by its body, then its stalk, then at the tip of the stalk the raphe is there. Raphe is nothing but the attachment organ of stalk to the body, and at the tip there are two projections. The projections are called as the tubercles. Okay, so sporocarp is the spore producing structure in the Marsilea. Now sporocarp external morphology. The sporocarp is a bean-shaped, two ovoid nut-like structure. The sporocarp is bean-shaped to ovoid nut-like structure. Number 2, it is attached to the basal part of the petiole with the help of stalk, and these sporocarps are always attached to the basal part of the petiole. Number 3, it is green and soft when young. When young, sporocarp is green and soft, but turns dark brown and hard at maturity. When it is at maturity, it is dark brown or hard. Number 4, the sporocarp is differentiated into stalk and a body. Stalk is the attachment organ of the sporocarp, and body of the sporocarp is there. Number 5, the stalk is fused laterally to the back of the body of the sporocarp, generally forming a distinct ridge called as the raphe. Okay, so this is the raphe attachment organ of stalk to the body. Number 6, some species the distal end of the raphe is marked by one or two teeth-like projections known as tubercles. So tubercles are present at the tip of the raphe or at the tip of the stalk. So this is the external appearance of the sporocarp. Now internal structure of the sporocarp. Number 1, the wall of the sporocarp is very hard, thick and highly resistant to mechanical injury. The wall of the sporocarp is very hard. Number 2, it is differentiated into an outer epidermis, a middle hypodermis, and an inner parenchymatous zone. Now these are the parts of the wall of the sporocarp. Outermost is the epidermis, middle is the hypodermis, and inner is the parenchymatous zone. A number of sunken stomata are present in the epidermis. Epidermis of the sporocarp again having the stomata like the leaves. Okay. So number of sunken stomata present in the epidermis. Now anatomy of the sporocarp. Here there are different sections discussed in different books, but here very simple anatomy in the form of HLS, horizontal longitudinal section of the sporocarp is given. So we discussed here just HLS of the sporocarp. So horizontal longitudinal section of the sporocarp. Okay, this region passes through stalk of the sporocarp. You see at the tip in the small diagram, the blade is passing through the stalk of the sporocarp. Okay, number 1, the section passes through the stalk of the sporocarp. Number 2, in HLS of sporocarp, the gelatinous ring appears in the form of dorsal and ventral mass. Okay, you see in the diagram at the tip there is a circular mass, at the base there is also mass. These two masses are the gelatinous ring, but toward the upper gelatinous ring, toward the dorsal side, that gelatinous ring is larger than lower. Number 3, this plane both micro and megasporangia are visible in sori. In this plane both microsporangia and megasporangia are visible, or they are easily looks. Number 4, the sori are seen in two alternate rows. There are two alternate rows, they are come in front of each other. So you see in the diagram toward both side, toward the left and right side, there are the two rows of the sori, means microsporangia and megasporangia. Number 5, each sorus has a receptacle with contains one terminal microsporangium, and each sorus has a receptacle. Receptacle means small stalk. Contains one terminal megasporangium and two microsporangia toward the latter side. So you see in the diagram, okay, inside the indusium there is a small receptacle, and at the receptacle, at the tip of the receptacle, the single megasporangium present, and toward the lateral side 2 microsporangia are arranged. Okay, in single indusium or in single compartment, the receptacle is there. At the tip of the receptacle, single megasporangium, and toward the lateral side 2 microsporangia are there. Then microspores and megaspores. Number 1, the microsporangium produces 32 to 64 haploid microspores. Single microsporangium produces 32 to 64 haploid microspores. Okay. Number 2, megasporangium produces single functional megaspores. Many megaspores are developed in the megasporangium, but at the maturity, the matured megasporangium having the single functional megaspore. Okay. Number 3, there is no special mechanism for the liberation of sporangia from the sporocarp. Okay, you see in the diagram, first diagram is diagram of the microsporangium having the many microspores, but in second diagram there is a diagram of circular diagram of the megasporangium, and at the maturity this megasporangium having the single functional megaspore. Okay, H diagram is the microsporangium, G diagram is the megasporangium. Then gametophytes. Okay. Number 1, Marsilia is a heterosporous fern producing two types of spores, microspores and megaspore. As you know that the meaning of heterosporous, they produce the two types of spores. One is the microspore, another one is the megaspores. Number 2, the microspore gives rise to male gametophyte and megaspore female gametophyte. On germination of microspore, it produces the male gametophyte or male prothallus, and at germination of megaspore, it produces the female gametophyte or female prothallus. Number 3, male gametophyte produces antheridium, contains many androcytes or antherozoid mother cells. As you know that antheridium contains the androcytes or androgonal cells or antherozoid mother cells. Okay, and their function is to produce the sperms or antherozoid spermatozoids. Then each androcyte metamorphoses into a corkscrew shaped multiflagellate antherozoid, and each androgonal cell or antherozoid mother cell produces the single corkscrew shaped multiflagellate antherozoid, which is the haploid having the single male nucleus. It is also called as male gamete. Number 4, female gametophyte produces the archegonium. Female gametophyte always produces the archegonia. Okay, the mature archegonium has a 8-celled neck. Neck is 8-celled. As you know that archegonium contains upper neck and basal the venter. Venter contain venter canal cell and egg, and neck contain neck canal cell, and mouth of the archegonium is covered by the cover cells. The mature archegonium has an 8 neck canal cell, 8-celled neck. The mature archegonium has an 8-celled neck with single neck canal cell, a small venter canal cell, and a large egg at the base. Okay. Then fertilization and embryo development. Number 1, just before fertilization, the neck canal cell and venter canal cell degenerate to form a mucilaginous mass which attracts sperms chemotactically. Chemotactically mechanism is there. Just before the fertilization, the neck canal cells, venter canal cells, they will be disappear. The mucilaginous substance is formed. Due to inner pressure of mucilaginous substance, the mouth of the archegonium is opens and mucilaginous substance is come outside, and due to that smell, the sperms are attracted toward the archegonium. It is called as chemotactic mechanism. Number 2, a number of sperms which are directed towards the archegonium but only one sperm fuses with the egg and forms diploid zygote. Many sperms are attracted toward the Many sperms are attracted towards the archegonium, but only one fuses at first come first serve basis and form the diploid zygote. The diploid zygote is the mother cell of next sporophytic generation. As you know that when diploid zygote is formed and it goes in the multiplication, it causes the cell division and the inconspicuous embryo is develops, and in further developmental changes embryo produces the young sporophytic plant body, and at maturity the young sporophytic plant body converted into matured sporophytic plant body, which produces the subterranean rhizome, underground adventitious roots, aerial petioles, and at the tip the aerial petioles produces the 4 leaflets. Okay. Number 4. The development of embryo is extremely rapid. Within a fraction of period or immediately they produce the embryo starts its further developmental changes. The development of embryo is extremely rapid and young sporophyte is established within 2 to 4 days of fertilization. After fertilization, after developmental changes takes place in the zygote, immediately the young sporophytic plant body is develops within 2 to 4 days. Now the alternation of generation in the Marsilea. As you know that the Marsilea at the sporophytic plant body at maturity, first it goes in the vegetative reproduction. Okay, in vegetative reproduction, matured Marsilea reproduces by fragmentation. Fragmentation is takes place in the subterranean rhizome. When accidentally the rhizome break into small piece, at that time these small pieces having ability to regeneration and they produce new individual plant body of the Marsilea. Then another vegetative reproduction causes by the tubers, and these tubers are develops by the rhizome, and when they detach from the mother plant body, again they produce the new individual sporophytic plant body of the Marsilea. In this way, the vegetative reproduction in Marsilea is caused by the fragmentation as well as the tubers. Now you see the sexual reproduction. It is begins with the sporophytic plant body, which is basically diploid in nature, and this diploid sporophytic plant body produces the spore producing structure, which is the very specialized called as the sporocarp, which is produces at the base of the petiole. Okay, and which is again diploid in nature. And as you know that the sporocarp produces it is a heterosporous pteridophyte, so that it produces the microspores as well as the megaspores. Microspores develop in the microsporangium, again megaspores develop in the megasporangium. Both microsporangia and megasporangia produces by the single sporocarp. So single sporocarp produces microsporangium, which is the diploid. Microsporangium contain the microspore mother cells. They are diploid. They goes in the reduction division meiosis and they form the many haploid microspores. Their number is generally 32 to 64. But in the megasporangium, again having the megaspore mother cells, they are diploid. They further goes in the reduction division meiosis and they produces the megaspores. But at maturity of the megasporangium, there may be single functional megaspore. Okay, in this way megaspore microspores are produces, and when microspores megaspores and sporocarps ruptures, the microspores and megaspores they will be liberated. Microspore, when they are fall down on the suitable substratum under favorable conditions, they start germination. In case of germination, microspores produces the male prothallus, it is also called as male gametophyte, and megaspore germinates, it produces the female prothallus, it is also called as the female gametophyte. Now after meiosis, microspores are developed, so that microspores and these male and female gametophytes are strictly haploid in nature. Okay, the male gametophyte produces the antheridia, Female gametophytes produces the archegonium. Archegonium having this single egg, and the antheridia produces many sperms. They are also called as male gametes. They are multiflagellated, motile in structure, and when antheridia ruptures, the sperms are ooze out and the archegonium matures. Their neck canal cells, venter canal cells degenerate, mucilaginous substance is formed, and due to inner pressure of the mucilaginous substance, the cover cells, which is the mouth of the archegonium, it becomes a loosen. The mucilaginous substance is come out from the archegonium, and due to smell of the mucilaginous substance, the sperms are attracted toward the archegonium, and with the help of film of water, the sperms are migrated toward the archegonium, and they can enter in the archegonium, and fuses of the male gamete, female gamete, both are haploid fuses, and diploid zygotic condition is formed, and here fertilization is over. In post fertilization changes, the zygote goes in the development of embryo, and in that embryo is the diploid, because that zygote is the diploid zygote directly produces the embryo, and embryo directly produces the sporophytic plant body, so that in Marsilea the sporophytic plant body is the diploid. In this way, here alternation of generation and the life cycle of the Marsilea is over. Thank you.